Welcome back, it's Javier.
And Adela. Today we're going to be telling you guys our top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Now these are just our personal opinions. It has nothing to do with any stats or facts or anything about box office, anything. It's just our personal opinions of the 10 best horror movies ever made.
And yes, there might be some controversial opinions in this video, so brace yourselves, people. Okay, not really. Nothing bad is happening here. Alright,
it's not that serious.
Alright, let's get started.
Alright, so it is 10 films, but we did break it in. I chose 5, he chose 5. So I'll go through my 5 and he'll go through his 5, and then we have a couple honorable mentions at the end as well. So my number 1 absolute favorite movie of all time that just happens to be considered a horror film is The Lost Boys, the original one from the 80s with Kiefer Sutherland. That's my favorite movie of all time, and since it's a horror film, I'll include that on my list.
And
so
it's probably
Lost Boys.
the best vampire movie I've ever watched.
They're like true vampires,
yeah.
Not sparkly fucking...
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. Next on my list is Pet Sematary, the original from the 80s. I've mentioned it multiple times in our videos that is one of my favorite movies as well. It is probably my favorite, like, true horror movie, because I don't really consider Lost Boys, like, true horror. Pet Sematary I do. That's absolutely true horror.
Oh, yeah.
We did our whole video, you know, Pet Sematary versus Pet Sematary from the original to the remake. So if you haven't checked that out, we'll link it down below. But definitely Pet Sematary is on my list because I love that movie so much. He just really, really likes to be in our videos today.
Yeah.
Hello.
So we might as well introduce him. Say hi. This is Atlas. The best cat ever.
He's like, what are you doing?
And he will now be going to the side.
Alright, next on my list is Child's Play 2019. I know that that's probably something that's gonna piss people off, but that's fine, because 2019 one's great and the original one's stupid. So I really, really enjoyed the remake, and that's coming from someone who doesn't like remakes. I really enjoyed it, so that's obviously going to make my list. The new Chucky is absolutely terrifying, and the storyline makes a lot more sense than it did in the originals. So alright, next on my list, excuse me.
Alright.
Next on my list is Saw 3. This is the one where John Kramer, Jigsaw, is dying from cancer, and they kidnap the doctor to help save his life. And I just think that's the best one in the series. I love it. And yeah, it's just a really, really, really well put together movie. And then last but not least on my 5 is Dark Skies. Now I don't know how well this movie actually did theatrically, but that doesn't matter to me because I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the best alien horror films ever made. I think it's really good. I really, really, really like it.
Gave me goosebumps the first time watching it. There's some pretty
it's pretty terrifying
creepy
stuff.
scenes in that movie. I mean, I think it's probably the scariest alien movie we've seen since The Fourth Kind.
The Fourth Kind's creepy.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing that really makes that one creepy is like the side-by-side foot. That's not on our list. Why are we talking about that? Calm down. So yeah, that's mine. Lost Boys, Pet Sematary, Child's Play 2019, Saw 3, and Dark Skies.
Alright, and now for my top 5, I'm probably going to start with my least favorite one of the list. I'm going to go down like that way. And that one would probably have to be You're Next. You're Next is, it's a slasher, really well done slasher. It's not your typical, the guy running around in a mask with a knife. I don't know, it's really good. I don't want to go too much into that movie, other than the fact that normally I don't like slashers, but with this one I do like it. So you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. So the next one on this list is probably going to be the most controversial one in this video, but this one is going to be Rob Zombie's version of Halloween. There, I said it. Oh man,
You gotta get that off your chest.
Oh, I feel so much better now. But yeah, with this movie, I know a lot of like die-hard Halloween fans completely hate the fact that they humanized Michael Myers in this movie. But the one thing I love about movies is good storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And if they manage to give a monster like Michael Myers a really good backstory, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like, it really is a good movie. And, you know, if people could just get past the whole fact that, you know, he's just a monster.
I mean, I can compare it to, now that I know this, I can compare it to, like, the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, because they gave, you know, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, a backstory and made you, like, feel for him. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, they did the same kind of thing.
So, yeah, you know, hate me, love me, I don't care. Rob Zombie's Halloween movie remake was really, really good. And definitely watch it. Give it another chance.
Yeah.
Next one on here is probably going to be the Evil Dead remake. Also one that some fans may not really be too on board with, but you know, the remake of this actually I did enjoy better than the original that came out. Even I still like the original, but with this one it was less campy and actually more creepy.
Mm-hmm.
One thing with this movie is that there is a lot of gore in this movie, so yeah, keep that in mind. A lot of gruesome scenes in this movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got one of my favorite sequels on here, which is Hellraiser 2. I thought it was done better than the first Hellraiser movie, and you know, kind of gives you a little bit of a backstory on Pinhead himself. So definitely give that one a watch.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
And then last but not least, my number one pick, of course, is always going to be The Shining. Now, this movie I really don't have to say much about. Everybody knows this movie by now. But it is probably my favorite movie of, like, all time, any genre.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are my 5 picks.
Yeah. And then we have 3 honorable mentions to talk about. 3 movies that didn't quite make our top 5s, but still need to be mentioned because they're so good and some of our favorites. So the first one is Poltergeist, the original one, not the remake.
That was terrible.
But I watched that movie so much as a child. Like, that was probably one of the first horror movies I ever saw, and for some reason I just watched it all the time, and it never scared me. It just like mesmerized me. I loved that movie.
It's a really well done movie. I mean, Steven Spielberg, was it? I think he was the one that directed this movie, but he really did a good job doing this. For that not being the kind of movie he normally does, really, really well done movie.
So good. It's really good. And like the conspiracy theories that surround it too just make it that much better. If you don't know anything about that, just Google and you'll find out.
Alright, next on here is another controversial pick, because I know this movie is like everybody's least favorite in that whole series, but we got Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Now, this movie I actually did like more than probably... It's actually my favorite one in the whole series, despite what everybody had to say about this movie, about all the weird stuff that was said about the movie. What it sounds like to me is a bunch of homophobia. Because everybody had a lot of weird homophobic stuff to say about this movie. And, you know...
Shocker.
But, yeah, this movie is actually really great. And personally my favorite. So, yeah. Hate me, love me, I don't care. Great movie. Watch it.
You can hate me or love me. I think all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies suck. I hate them all. So anyway, our last honorable mention is a newer one. It's A Quiet Place. So that's it was kind of like an instant classic, I think. I think a lot of people loved it and were like raving about it. We didn't watch it right away.
Yeah, we were kind of late to the party.
Yeah, we were really late to the party. But I really enjoy it. So basically there's like these monsters it's like a monster apocalypse. We don't know if they're aliens or demons or what they are, but they kind of just take over and they respond to sound, so you have to be like perfectly quiet because even this tiniest sound will attract them and they just kill you right away. So like just having to live your entire life in silence is like horrifying. Like silence is deafening. So if you can imagine living your whole life in total silence.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely gotta give props to anybody involved with the making of this movie. I mean, the whole premise of the movie, I bet this movie was super hard to film, considering there's not much dialogue at all in this movie.
I mean, like they literally, probably the actors didn't even get a script. They're just like, you just don't talk. So
it was a really, yeah, it was a really well done movie, and you know, it was a good mix of like, it's like a good combination between a creature feature and apocalyptic movie. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. And the fact that I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but like the woman is pregnant in the movie. So if you can imagine trying to have a baby in silence, like that's, if you're a woman and a mother and you've ever had a baby, you know that it's really hard to not be loud as fuck when you're having a baby. So
there's some intense moments in this movie for sure, and you know, if it's one of those movies you've kind of just can skip by because you've heard too much about it, that it's kind of overhyped to you.
Yeah, because we're the same way. Like if a movie's talked about too much, it's like it turns us off from it. But this one is really good.
But yeah, if you skip past it, I'd go back to it and definitely give it a watch. At least rent the movie, you know, on any streaming platform or whatever.
Yeah. But that's it for our honorable mentions. So yeah, that's our top 10, 5 and 5 list of our favorite horror movies of all time. And a couple bonuses there for you. Definitely check any of these movies out if you haven't seen them. Let us know your thoughts down below. On what the movies we mentioned. Tell us your favorite horror movies of all time. Just anything, you know, just let us know down below because we'd love to hear from you.
And as always, of course, like the video, comment, subscribe, definitely hit the bell. We definitely got something special coming soon your way, so
It'll be fun. Fun stuff. Come join the party. We'd love to have you.
So yeah, just
yeah, stick around. And we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope you check out these movies. We hope you share your favorites with us. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.